I am through with watching Kill la Kill. I'm done. I'm finished. No more. I can't go on with this shit. And it's kind of a shame too, because when I watched like the first 2 episodes or so, I was like really intrigued with this show and its presentation and its setting and its ideas and its protagonist, and like I really felt that this was going to be, if nothing else, an extremely creative, fresh, funny anime, and that was like the main thing I think that really kept me like hooked from the beginning, is that like the show really made me laugh for the first couple of episodes or so, like for the first crazy segments, like the audacity of some of this crazy bullshit, like the imagery, like the jokes, like there is a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed about like early Kill la Kill, but like as I watched more and more, as I got through like about to the halfway mark and a little bit beyond, like I began to feel like a lot of the same way that the same way I did when I was getting through Evangelion, right? Like I was beginning to realize that like nothing about this show made any sense. It wasn't structured very well. Its plot wasn't very well realized. Its characters weren't interesting. The action wasn't good. Like there was no real incentive for me to continue. Like I didn't care about Satsuki. I didn't care about like Ryoko and her struggles. I didn't care about like these new characters that were being introduced. I didn't care about any of it. And I really wanted to talk about like why, like what exactly made Kill la Kill like lose me like in this regard, like what made it like sort of drop the ball. Well, the first thing, and I think this is the big major thing that like everyone always brings up, is that like the show is indeed disgustingly over-sexualized. Like I am very critical of like over-sexualization in media in general, because like I think it's pandering, I think it's lazy, I don't think it leads to compelling like story arcs or anything. Like it's just like titillating for the sake of being titillating, and in the sake of in the way that like Kill la Kill handles it goes so far and above like anything like I've ever really seen before, because like I don't watch ecchi, I don't care for hentai, I don't, like I said, I don't care for over sexualization in media, right? I don't like anime. I don't find like anime girls attractive, and seeing Ryoko in that ridiculous outfit and seeing them like try to justify its existence, seeing them like try and like rationalize it and like give her power-ups based on like, oh, accept your nudity, man, or just however the fuck they put it, like it was obnoxious, it was stupid. I did not care for it. It was ridiculous, and I wish it was cut out of the show entirely in favor, and I think this is the big thing, in favor of making the school setting more interesting, the club hierarchy more interesting, and like the antagonist, like the student council actual antagonist, because for the first 12 episodes of this, like for the first half of this show, right, it really does feel like Satsuki and her cronies don't do a whole lot of anything besides plan to be evil, right? Plan like their hostile takeover of like Japan schools or whatever. Like they're organizing all these clubs, like getting them ready to fight and like doing all this stuff. And like here comes Ryoko, this punk like transfer student who's just getting into all these fights and causing all these problems. That interested me, right? Like it felt like a really interesting like battle against authority story, right? Like you had this established group in power that the rebel, right, Ryoko wants to fight against, right? The school is like tyrannical, like they do all this crazy shit, like they like, you know, they're torturing people, they're killing them, they're like they're publicly humiliating them, like the way their grades, your grades at the academy like affect like the income your family makes at home, like it's really exaggerated, really interesting stuff that if they had really fleshed it out and made it interesting, it really would have worked. Like seeing Ryoko, like I don't know, like fight for other people, or fight for her own rights, right? Or stand up to this group and slowly start dismantling this organization, this corrupt school, and earning the ire of Satsuki and her cronies. That would have been interesting. That would have been fun. That would have been great. But instead, what we get instead is some out of place revenge story. Ryoko is on a quest to find the man who killed her father. To find the person who killed her father. And this to me completely takes the wind out of all the sails that the general idea has set up, because the show fundamentally is not about Hinoshi Academy. It isn't about Satsuki. It isn't about these people the people at the academy. It's about this mysterious third party that killed Ryoko's dad, right? When you're at school, you're not fucking thinking about your parents, right? They don't affect your social life or standing at school at all. And that to me is kind of what destroys the concept of the first half of Kill la Kill, right? It should have been entirely about Ryoko versus Satsuki. And in a lot of ways, that kind of happens. They technically fight, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't amount to much, especially later on when it's revealed that the Ryoko's father's killer has nothing to, wasn't directly associated with Satsuki at all, and the whole thing with the fascist school student council seems kind of pointless. The show fundamentally doesn't work. So many of the concepts it introduces are just kind of dropped and forgotten about. The characters don't have any real. The characters don't have any real agency. They're not really interesting for the most part. They're mostly just there for one-off jokes or gags or plot points. Satsuki, they try to make Satsuki look badass and cool. It doesn't really work. They try to act like Ryoko is in danger sometimes. Not she was overpowered even before she got the fucking sailor suit, right? It's just. They have too many ideas. It's they had a lot of good ideas, but forgot to cut out the bad ones. Because it feels like they threw everything into this to try and make it distinct and original, and they kind of just failed. They kind of failed to make the good parts shine and just to filter away the bad stuff. Because there is a lot of bad stuff in this show that really, really bogs it down. I just did not care for this thing at all.